do a response video to the racism video that I just did about a week ago. And I got so many wonderful responses, and I really appreciate them, and I wanted to read them out loud, just sort of going from newest first and on down. And I am very grateful for them. They were very helpful. Come on. No. Stewie is trying to climb into a box, and I don't think he'll stop. Come. This is Stewie, everyone. This is Stewie. Stewie, can you please let me do my video and not cause mischief? He wants to go outside really, really bad, and he will as soon as I'm done with the video, okay? Oh, so the other day we had a windstorm, and it was crazy. I think it was the Santa Ana winds. My cats, they all want to go outside so bad. They're gonna just be a pain, I just know it. Anyway, so I think it was the Santa Ana windstorm, and it was really warm, hot air just blowing like crazy. And so now we have the leaf blowers that are all around, and they're not gonna really go away until it's all clean, and it's a huge mess. So unfortunately I have to battle with them today. But if I don't make this video today, it's gonna be like a few more days, because they're gonna be back tomorrow and the next day. But it sounds like he's at the other side of the complex, so yes. Okay, so I just felt so much better, so much better. So so I have my tea, my cozy tea, which is a black tea with some soy milk and coconut sugar. And I have my nice cozy robe and my weighted blanket, which, if you don't know what a weighted blanket is, it sort of, well, it's a blanket that's full of little balls, and they sound like this, like a beanbag. And you could get them at different sizes. I mean, not sizes, well, sizes true, but different weights, kind of going on what you weigh. So I got a blanket that is 17 pounds, so it's pretty heavy. I'll show you. It's just so snuggly. Oh my god, I love it. And I sleep with this every night, and it's so nice and heavy, and it's just like a hug all night long. So it's really good for anxiety, and autistic children benefit from weighted blankets. But for now, I'm just gonna put it in my lap and let it just hug my lap while I read these comments. So let me begin, and I'm gonna just go from the newest first. I'll just do it that way. So the first one is from Guest, and Guest says, "Let us know you guys are okay with the wildfires and all. We're fine. The wildfires are actually not near us. They're not, well, we're in Ventura, so we're okay. So thank you for asking." Charmed Excellence says, "Girl, this world is crazy. Stay safe, hun. I'm gonna be praying for you and your family and sending you positive vibes." Thank you, Charmed Excellence. I really appreciate that, and I just appreciate it. Thank you. Afrocentric Anatomy TV, there you go, says, hold on, I'm just gonna open it so I can see the whole thing. they would have not looked right back at and said that. Wait, hold on. They would not have looked right back at and said that. What the F you looking at? But no, I couldn't live there, sis. I'm sorry. I like to live in a town mixed with everyone, black, white, Spanish, Mexican, all people. I hear you. Girl, imagine being a dark-skinned black chick like myself. How people stare at me in the summer like I'm way too dark. Girl, the darker the skin, the worse the treatment. I'm not saying you're wrong, but people are dumb as hell. I don't teach my kids to hate white people, but I let them know how most whites will treat us being black. So I say screw them, and you may need to move, sis. I understand. You know, first of all, I haven't read all the comments yet, and a lot of them were like being held for review, and I just approved them all. They were fine. I don't know why they were being held for review. But you know what your comment reminds me of? And this is just so crazy. Okay. So some of you know that I have a sister who is also adopted, and she's also black. She's also mixed race. So my biological mother, white, biological father, black, her biological mother, black, father, white. So it's just reversed, right? So very interesting. We look very different, very, very different. And like, for example, my sister, I think it would, you know, when she was 5, 4, 3, 6, 7, would be comparable to like a black Shirley Temple, right? They had the same hair. When she walked, it boinged and boinged, and it was so cute. It was like, oh my God, I wanted her hair so much. And so she could be compared to black Shirley Temple, and she had the personality of a Shirley Temple type, very outgoing and charming, you know. I'll put some pictures so you can see. And me, nobody knew. The most common question I got was, are you a boy or a girl? But see, we were basically the same shade. I think we're the same shade. We just look very different. So I had more broad nose and eyes and lips, and she had tiny nose, little eyes, little lips. And I had, you know, the hair, the big afro. And as a child, my nickname, not for everyone, but my nickname was Buckwheat. So I remember my nanny from Jersey. She used to live with us. She was our nanny, and I loved her so much. She just treated me so well, and I wish I had this book. She bought me a book, and she signed it. Oh, here's the leaf blower. She signed it. To Buckwheat from Nanny. To Buckwheat from Annie. And at the time, I didn't really know Buckwheat. But then I saw the Little Rascals, like the old school Little Rascals. And we didn't have a TV. We had a TV at one point, and then my dad's like, no more TV. And literally, we were watching TV. He comes in, takes it out of the wall. We don't have TV for the next 10 years, right? So we really didn't grow up with a TV. But when we did have a TV, I did see the Little Rascals, the original Little Rascals, and I saw Buckwheat, and I understood. I understood why people would compare me to Buckwheat. We had very similar hair. He's a lot darker than I am. But I didn't see we weren't really like the same type of person, you know what I mean? Like he was more outgoing, I was way more shy. If I can remember right, God, it's been so many years since, seriously. Solomon, come here, honey. Come here. He's almost done. Come here. Hi. Come say hi to mommy. Come say hi to mommy. Hello. No, no, no. Sullivan, come on, come on. Come on, come down. This is Sullivan. Yeah, it's Sullivan. Like, he is just never leaving, is he? So now I hear quiet. How wonderful. So where was I? So buckwheat, yes. I don't know how many little girls want to be compared to buckwheat, and I understand we had similar hair and we're both people of color. But yeah, little 5, 6, 7-year-old doesn't really want girl. Probably doesn't want to be compared to buckwheat. I always thought buckwheat was a sweet boy and he seemed good-natured and all that. But I think I'd rather have been compared to a little girl. Like even in other cultures, I know, like East Indian culture, the lighter you are, the more you are considered beautiful. And I know that goes for other cultures. So interesting, right? It's every little thing. It could be just the texture of your hair, the color of your eyes. Everything is just under a magnifying glass, you know, and you are treated totally different. It's insane. And that you don't teach your kids to hate white people is great. Because why teach hate, right? Why would we want to teach hate? I think that would make things harder for the child, harder for you, harder for everyone. But definitely teach children what to expect, what is out there, what they will run into. That is smart. And I think the way that I was raised, I think my mom, as a white mother, she really did her best, and she really thought about things very deeply. And I think her way was she exposed me to the arts and arts of people of all colors and museums and galleries and a lot of books. And if you notice, I have a lot of books. So a lot of black artists and authors, prolific authors, and so I got a lot of my knowledge through books, which is not the same as real life experience, which I did get. But I wouldn't say that books would prepare you for real world racism if you don't have family that you can experience the racism with and kind of have family to lean on to help you with that. But the books did help. And my mom was, a scholar. She was a PhD. She was one of the first women Episcopalian priests to be ordained in California. And she met a lot of people in her travels all over the world. And I remember one day she brought me home a box, and in the box was an outfit. And I remember it was pink and purple, and it was a skirt, and it had a matching sailor sort of top, and it came with a top hat sort of thing that was felt, and it was pink and purple also. And I was about 13 at this time, 14. I'm about to go to high school, and I remember looking into that box, and and she looks at me, she's like, "Don't you love it?" And I'm just looking like, it was very, very grown up, almost as if it was a costume almost. And she said, Maya Angelou had something very similar on the other day at the church. And Maya Angelou is someone that my mother has met a few times, and they have talked and that sort of thing. I think this might have been at Grace Cathedral in San Francisco. My mom has worked at a lot of different churches from San Francisco to New York City, different churches. And in her work, she's met influential people like Bishop Desmond Tutu multiple times and talked about him a lot. She really, really likes him a lot. So I would hear about these things, And I never wore that outfit. I sometimes I would wear the top and then I would put jeans on with it, but I couldn't just never wear the whole thing at once. I feel like Simple Simon or something, no, Mom, I'm sorry, I can't. I am not a 50-year-old woman. I am a teenager. I can't wear that. But she would do little things like that now I look back at and very sweet. So let us move on to the next. Cool. Let's see here. So this is from Appius Ocella, and I apologize if I am not pronouncing that correctly. So, I am white. I am like the bottom of the white privilege pyramid, but I acknowledge it's there. I know because I'm white that white people expect me to agree with them, and a lot of time people of color go on the defense because I'm white. It makes me bend too far the opposite way, which is just as bad as hate mongering because it's still racism if I am extra nice to someone because we are different colors. My co-workers and my friends are different races, and I work with the public. My boss is a beautiful African American woman who I have known since 1996. So that's 21 years. She would literally help anyone any way she could, even if it hurts her to do it. And she puts up with my crazy, so that's a bonus. She's better than 90% of the people you will ever meet, but she has dark skin, so there are people who will never see that. I went through the we are the same thing, but we aren't. We shouldn't be. Correct. I totally agree with you. The way you decide someone is your enemy, I think, is by dehumanizing. All Hispanics are this. All Muslims are this. If you take the time to see each person individually, you might not like all of them, but it will be because of the person, not their race or religion or gender or etc. But you can't meet every human and decide you like them or not. And some humans just will never like you. I'm still deciding it's okay that people don't like me, and I am 44 years old, but people not liking you can be dangerous. So you're talking about like me because I'm a person of color, like people who are people of color, it might be dangerous, right? Exactly. I spend a lot of time trying to decide exactly how things should be. I feel guilty because I like sugar skulls because that's considered cultural appropriation. Never mind, I understand their meaning. I don't know you outside your videos, but I'm on your side. Oh, well, I love you, Appius Ocella. But wait a minute, what is sugar skulls? I feel guilty because I like sugar skulls. What's sugar skulls? I gotta look that up really quick. Hold on. Sugar skulls. Let's see here. Sugar skull. Oh. I'll put it on. I'll put a. So, hold on a second. So it's Day of the Dead. It's Is another name for sugar skull calavera? Is that it? Let's look that up. Is a calavera a sugar skull? I don't even know. Is a representation of a human skull. The term is most often applied to decorative or edible skulls made usually by hand from either sugar or clay, which are used in the Mexican celebration of the Day of the Dead and the Roman Catholic holiday All Souls Day. Oh, that's insane. You could like what you like. You could like whatever you want to like. Okay. I love you, APS Ocella, and I love your comment. Next, Cinderella. You're beautiful. Smiley face with hearts. Racism is all about jealousy. Huh, that's interesting. It's about jealousy and hate. And hate. Because, like, remember what I told you the other day about the little kid that... Oh, I never put out that video. Okay, so the other day... Not the other day. Why do I always say the other day when I actually mean the other month? So when we first moved in here, Nomi and I were walking to the mailbox, and actually, I'll put in my little clip that I was going to put in anyway, right here.
Racism is definitely learned. The other day we were walking to the mailbox, and our neighbor was having a party, and as soon as we got there, the party got halted. Nobody talked anymore. They all just stared at us as we kept walking. And on our way back from the mailbox, the little boy said, "They're coming back from the mailbox now." And it's not the child's fault. Children just learn from their parents or from their caregiver. The child was just being a good child.
Okay. And the little kid didn't know any better. He just knew that his grandparents, his mother, uncles, you know, the family gathering, that black people were walking by, and he was just letting them know, like, you know, like a little soldier, here we are, you know. And that was really uncomfortable. Very, very, when you're in the situation when you're just walking and you're just getting your mail and a whole party comes to a halt because they see you, and then the little boy's like, they're coming back from the mailbox. It's really embarrassing. It's really annoying. So it's hate. So I don't know how much of that was jealousy, but it was definitely hate, and it was being taught for that little boy. It was definitely being taught. Like, remember when I said in the other video, in my racism video, when we moved in and the neighbor and her family just sort of stood out and watched us move in, and it was like, literally, it was kind of like this, watching us like this, like, you know, and they wouldn't leave. So I don't know how jealous they were. They might have been jealous when I put a gate up right away. Like, within a few months, like, I had a gate put up, and now I have a lot more privacy. And they could be jealous because they don't have a gate up, so it could be jealousy for that too. But that's very sweet, Cinderella. Thank you. Next comment. My life random ASMR. Hello, girl. I see you in your videos. It would be cool if you did a meet and greet in California. Oh my god. Girl, thank you. I think you're very sweet for saying that, but little old me with my little old 8,000 subbies, I'd be so anxiety ridden, girl. Oh my gosh. I would be, you know what I rather would do? Hey y'all, let's go. I'm gonna be at this place and they have live music, and maybe I'll see you there, and people show up, have some drinks, live music, you know. If you don't drink, have some coffee, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. But an actual meet and greet, I would, I'd have to take, I don't know, maybe a couple Klonopin that day. Even though I love you all, but I got anxiety. Whew. But you were sweet, thank you. And here you are again. Okay, let me open it up to expand. Racism is cowardly ignorance. Yes, it is. It's different in Europe. Yes, it is. I have been to Europe. I know. Oh God, when you say that. My mom was actually planning on moving to Paris. She retired a year early, and she was gonna get a place in Paris and have and spend like her life, but like, you know, by like New York, Paris, that sort of thing. And she was gonna get a flat over there, and then she got ALS and she never got to do it. But I have been to the UK, and yeah, it was way different. I didn't feel any of that when I was there. It was, yeah, it was wonderful. Okay. I've been in US for some years, and I can relate to what you're saying. My siblings are darker and some are lighter. The darker ones are your color, and they get a lot of bullshit. Some people even telling them to go home or not serving them in a store. Yes. My sister gets very upset about it. It happens more in the East than California. I've lived in the East. I've lived in Massachusetts, upstate New York City. All in all, you shouldn't care to please anyone or impress anyone. Those who want to judge you aren't worth your energy. Be yourself, be happy. All negativity is external to you and cannot change who you are as a person. It just shows you who they are. Love you and know me, Kissy. I hear you, girl. It's just like, wait, where's that part where you said, they aren't worth your energy? It's so true. There was something I was going to say about that. See, I try very hard to be positive, but sometimes really shitty things happen, like what you said right there, not getting served in a store. When Nomi and I were in, okay, it was, where was this? Laguna in California, right? We went to Laguna for the first time, and this is right when we moved here, and we wanted to just see the shops and see the restaurants, and so we saw some of the shops and things like that, and then we wanted to go to a restaurant, so we picked, it was I think it was a Greek restaurant. Actually, now that I know, the locals told me we picked the worst one we could have picked on this trip, but we didn't know, so we ordered our food. The waitress was wonderful, sweet, but the owner came out, because we wanted to sit outside. They have this little patio, right? And inside is super dark, like a club. And this is like summer. It's like the beginning of summer. It's really beautiful, probably about 81 degrees outside, really beautiful. So we wanted to sit outside, and all of a sudden I saw in the owner's face, he was like, you don't want to sit inside? And I looked inside. It was super dark and not even, I don't want to go in there. I want to sit outside and people watch, you know? And I said, no, I'll sit outside. That'll be great. Thank you. And he seemed kind of funny about it, but I was just like, whatever. So we sat down, looked at the menu, we ordered our food, and the waitress didn't bring our food. The owner did. And not only that, he's like, we ordered a side of broccoli, right? Just a little side of broccoli. He brought a plate this big. I didn't even order the broccoli. It was for Nomi. Mound, like this big of a mound of broccoli. Here's the plate. And I'm looking at this broccoli like, are you kidding me? That's like a pound of broccoli. I didn't understand. First I was like, wow, that's really sweet of you. Thank you. But hello, gastritis later on, you know. So it turned out, he's like, oh, this is such a big plate of broccoli. We're going to need another table. So what he did was he grabbed another table. I wish I could show you a picture because I actually did take a picture, but I don't know where it is now. So we're sitting, Nomi's here. I'm on this side. We're just facing each other. So he's like, he brings this table from over here so that it totally blocks us from moving. So if we wanted to use the bathroom, or if we wanted to dine in ditch, which is what he thought we wanted to do, we would literally have to move this heavy table out of the way to do it. So if we wanted to use the bathroom, we would literally have to move this heavy table out of the way. There was absolutely no way to get out. And I looked at him and I was like, boss, I called him boss, okay? And I was like, boss, why you have us in here like this? I said, are you afraid we're going to run away? We're not going to pay the bill? And he starts laughing, like he's sheepishly laughing. He's like, no. And I said, well, this is really awkward. It not only does it look terrible, it feels very claustrophobic, like I'm just blocked in. I said, would you like my credit card right now? Before we eat, you could have my credit card. Like, I should have just left, but... And he's like, no, it's okay. And I was like... So I really couldn't enjoy my meal. And it was really not very good food. And so when we left, I gave the waitress a really big tip. And she was so apologetic. She knew exactly what was going on, and she didn't deny it. I said, I see how your boss has us blocked in. It's pretty offensive. She's like, I'm sorry. And then we talked to some of the locals, and they're like, that guy's an asshole. That you guys picked the worst restaurant you could have picked. Nobody goes there anymore. I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah. So my point is, when stuff like that happens, it's hard to let it just roll off. It really is hard. And I'm trying to really learn how to do that because it's just so degrading. Like, you just want to have a good day. And we looked really nice, and we dressed really pretty, like beautiful flowery dresses. And I think I had my wig on that day, and it was just really flowy, and Nomi had hers all styled, and we looked way better than that dude that looked like a complete slob. And you see, you know what I'm saying? It's hard because it's not a rare thing. It goes on a lot. So it's hard to just let things just, who cares? It really is, unfortunately. But thank you, girl. I really appreciate your comment a lot. I really do. Okay. So let us go on to the next comment. Where are we? Okay. Here's a comment from a guest. Now, I think guest means that they're not subscribed. They don't have an account. So guest, get an account. As a black person, I can't understand how white people can hate so many people based on their skin color, language, religion, whatever. And they can never give a rational explanation for their hatred. And it's as if they go into retarded mode whenever it's time to have a conversation about racism. So there is our impasse. Document everything. Make a note of all hostile behaviors and microaggressions from your neighbors. Sorry you're having to go through this, but such is life as a black American. The quickest way to end racism would be to have people spend a little time with and get to know others of a different ethnicity. I honestly believe that's all it would take. The best advice I can offer is to not spend too much energy worrying about racism. You can't control other people's initial reaction to you being black. That kind of constant background stress will wear away at your mental and physical health. All you can do is continue being your best self and let your good character shine through. People will see that, and in many cases, the barriers will eventually break down, or at least the racist people around you will be forced to question why they actually feel that way. By the way, if you see a tall, elegant 40-something black man with an impeccable white beard smiling at you, don't be alarmed. It's just me. Smiley face. Oh, do you live in Ventura, by the way? That's a wonderful response. And I agree. Don't worry too much about racism. Yeah. Do I worry about racism, or when it does happen, I ruminate too much on what has happened? Probably both, but I agree. Yeah. I agree. I think that's wonderful advice not to spend too much energy worrying about it. You're right. Or even spend energy worrying about what's already occurred. It's just kind of like it's occurred, and I see why it occurred, and you could, if you really think about people and where they are in their own development, or you could kind of see where they might be in their own development. It's kind of like you really don't need to get mad. Just kind of be like, okay, and brush it off. That's really the best you could do, because what's the point of getting angry and mad and all of that? And like I said before, I'm not sure if my camera cut off when I said this, but my father, one of his sayings to me is, the cemetery solves a lot of problems. So thank you, guest. Please, guest, subscribe and have an emoji where I can see who you are, or something else besides G brown box. Thank you for your comment. Now I'm gonna be looking at every black elegant man with a, did you say you had a white beard? Oh yes, with a white beard. And is that him? Is that him? Is that him? No, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so this is from ASM Marguerite. Hello, girl. First, I just have to say that as long as I've watched you, and I'm not sure how long I've been subbed, but it's been a while, I've always admired you. Thank you. You always seem so empowered, intelligent, and self-assured. To see you so open and vulnerable like this makes me admire you even more. Second, I wish I had an answer for you, or could make it so you or anyone else never had to deal with ignorant hate mongers. Oh my gosh, my computer just scared the heck out of me. I'm sorry for that. This is going to date me, but when I was 5 or 6, I remember watching this show called 3-2-1 Contact. I loved that show. I know that show. We're the same. We're 70s kids, right? I'll put a little 3-2-1 contact thingy up. It was a science show, but dealt with social issues too. Anyway, I remember one episode where they explained the difference between skin colors scientifically. They explained how people with darker skin had more melanin and people with lighter skin had less. But aside from that small fact, they were exactly the same. Had everything same on the inside and out, except for the level of melanin. Same joys, same fears, same hopes and dreams that always stuck with me. I don't understand how people can hate someone based on skin pigmentation, but as I grew older, I realized people who have hatred in them will spew it at anyone for any reason because they are miserable pieces of crap and they want everyone else to be as miserable as they are. I have no experience firsthand with racism. The closest I could say I've come is people who think less of me simply because of my gender. It is annoying and frustrating and feels like pushing a boulder up a never-ending hill, trying to reason with them because you can't reason with stupid. I wish I could take that feeling away from you, but for now, I hope you know there are a lot of people, including me, who think you are beautiful, smart, strong, and one hell of a person. Edit. Damn, that was so long. Sorry about that, L. I don't mind long. Thank you so much for that message. That made me feel really, really, very nice, and I'm sure many other people too. It's a very sweet message. Thank you for that. And I agree with you. 321 Contact was such a good show. That was like one of the shows we were allowed to watch before we didn't have a TV anymore. It's a great show. Maybe I'm gonna try to find a clip. I have to write that down because I don't want to forget that. 3, 2, 1, contact. Now I won't forget. Thank you, girl. I'm just kind of going through your message to see. So it boils down to ignorance, right? It's just ignorance. And so I've heard people say, you know, it's not just the color of someone's skin, it's their culture. And Black people are different than Mexican people, who are different than East Indian people, who are different than Puerto Rican people, who are different than Vietnamese people, who are, you know, comes down to that. And that's a good thing, right? We should still learn each other and get to know each other. But people will say it's not really the skin color, it's Black people are ignorant, or country people are ignorant, or white country people are ignorant, or, you know, it's this sort of thing where everyone's different. Everyone comes from a different background and culture. Everyone is different within, like, when people say they want to hear, like, they say, oh, the Black culture, that doesn't mean it's just like one culture. Like, there's so many subcultures. Is that it? Within it, like, my experience is going to be very different than someone else's experience. My experience might be more similar to somebody who knows out there, you know? There's not like, it's like, if people see my color and they automatically hate me based on the color, those are the people that are seeing just a color, and with that color, 1 + 2 = 3. That's in their mind. There's no real thought, you know, this is how you are because this is the color you are. And like I said before, it's kind of a community problem, you know. I think children are going to be taught horrible things by their parents. And if you happen to work with children or have interactions with children, just putting a little seeds of knowledge in their head could really be helpful, you know. And when I worked with children, I did that a lot. And I worked with children who I knew their parents were just straight up just real ignorant, really racist people, and the kids weren't. And even though they might ask a question, well, my mom said this or that, that's when some good old education comes in handy. And you get them when they're young. Get them when they're young. So thank you, ASM Margarita. Oh, my eyesight is so messed up. ASM Marguerite. Thank you. Okay, so here comes Jasmine Ritchie. Us walking down the street glowing. Racist people. Wait, let me expand it. Hold on. Me. Wow, how sad and miserable. Still glowing. I hear you, girl. I hear you. And you know, I know you've noticed this, that when you know somebody hates you and you're walking down the street and you're feeling yourself, you're feeling nice and whatever, and their evil looks don't bother you, and you know that they're looking to hopefully make it bother you or make you have a bad day by and you don't, and you're just happy and you're talking and you're free. You're a free person. You could do whatever you like. You could talk and have a nice time with your friends, even if there's people across the room giving you the evil eye and you shouldn't be around here. I know that pisses them off so much. We know that feeling. Because it's like, hey, I don't like you. And I, for some reason, feel like I have authority to make you feel unhappy. What are you doing? Smiling. I hear you. I love that one. Golden Goddess says, black are racist towards whites because whites hate blacks. You hate and judge me. I return the favor. So blacks are racist towards whites because whites hate blacks. You hate and judge me. So if you hate and judge me, I'm gonna hate and judge you. It's kind of like an eye for an eye, right? Sort of that sort of thing. But hold on, there's another comment from Golden Goddess. Let's see. Girl, it's normal. We all grow up to normalize white people's racism. The angry black woman stereotype comes from living in a racist society. As black women, how are we supposed to be happy? There have also been studies showing that black women's miscarriage rate comes from anxiety and stress due to having to deal constantly with racism. You can't ignore your reality. The way I deal with it is not having white friends. They can't and won't understand what I face. They also don't care enough to check other racist white people. So I understand what you're saying, and I hear what you're saying. I don't fully agree with that, even though I totally get it. And it's hard for me because my whole family's white, and my best friend's white, and I've had a lot of really good white people in my life, so it's hard for me to kind of take the position of just don't deal with white people at all, don't have white friends, because I don't want to do that. I want to have friends of varying racial backgrounds, and I think it just adds to a richer life to have friends from different places and have different experiences, same experiences, different parts of the world, different parts of the country. I think it's important. But I do understand the feeling of, look, I want to protect myself. I'm sick of this bullshit, and I'm just not going to deal with white people anymore, and I'm going to surround myself with people who understand. So if you can't hear what I'm saying, or if you can't check other white people, then I don't need you in my life. Actually, you reminded me of something. So the person here who was super nasty when we first moved in, just mugged us like this the whole time we were moving our stuff in. Well, I was told by 2 other people how nice she is. Oh, she's such a nice girl. Such a nice girl. And of course, I'm not going to start drama. I'm not going to say a thing. They don't know anything. They don't know what she did. They don't know anything. I'm not here to even, that's her, if that's what she needs to do to me, that's okay. I'm not going to tell on her, you know. But 2 different people described her as someone who's really nice, and she would be a not good neighbor. She's going to be a good neighbor. So it's like, they really believe it though. They're not pretending, because she is really nice to other white people. And they're white. So the 2 women that told me that are white. So that's going to be their experience. But to me, she is like the devil incarnate. Totally different. I think people really don't get that really happens. Like, they'll see a person and they'll say, this person is so nice. To who though? Because to me, she's not. You know, you have to distinguish, like, is she nice to everyone, or is she just nice to white people? And when I heard these 2 different women say that about her, I was like, wow. So to me, that would be annoying, because these 2 people, I could tell, want to know me, but I would have a hard time knowing them because they're so clueless about it. And I feel if I had said, well, you know what she did to me, blah, 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 they would have been like, what? Nah, she's probably just having a bad day, you know, because she this or that, or she's got 3 kids, you know. They wouldn't really see it. They would make an excuse. And that's the problem, you know. So you have to have woke people in your life, you know, and people that'll check another one if they see some wrongdoing. But I don't want to just say, nope, you're white, you're not in my life. I don't want to do the whole Jim Crow thing. I don't want to do that mentality. Blacks stay here, whites, well, whites could do anything. So Jim Crow was basically like that. Whites could do anything, blacks stay here. So not exactly Jim Crow, but you know what I'm saying. I don't want to separate like that. So I appreciate your comment though. Okay, let's see. I think my video is going to be really long. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read 2 more, and then I'm going to make a part 2. Okay? So the next one comes from Jasmine Ritchie, and she says, can you imagine the amount of misery racist people carry in their hearts? It's really sad how exhausting their lives must be to have to go out of their way to be so hateful to people based on their skin color. I can't imagine how people can be so evil. One way I get through is to imagine how sad and miserable their lives must be, and how we continue to grow and be great while they are miserable. I hear you. I love that comment. That does actually help me. When I am having one of those days where some ignorant SOB did something, or I saw something ignorant, I just think, like, God, it must suck to be them. It just must suck to be angry like that, just to have to spew it out, to get it out, like to get that urge out and make someone feel bad to make you feel better, but it really doesn't make you feel better. That must suck to have that existence. And that makes me feel so much better. So, I hear you, girl. I hear you, Jasmine. And we are going to end with Steph Definist. Definist? Wait, is that Steph Definist? Wish I had the answer, beautiful, but I don't. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We don't need the answer exactly, but it's so good just to have these comments, you know. So I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. So let me see how many is left. Yeah, so hold on. Oh, for some reason it's not loading more. Let me try to get let me just read some more because I actually might be at the end, but I'm not sure. Okay, this comes from Chastity Brown. For people like us, meaning people who see no color, who actually find the good in everybody, it's so hard because it's too much white and black racism out here, all from a lack of communication and education. It's too many people misinformed. It's no compassion and no understanding from both sides, so it's only going to get worse. We can't dwell on those people and their negativity because it'll put us in a negative space as well. So I just try to keep putting out love in the universe. That's all we can do. Smiley face heart. Yes. You know what? My computer's not letting me like load anything right now. I don't know why. But I agree. Chastity, I think that's a beautiful comment, and I agree. Just keep putting out love in the universe and not let those negative people come into our space, into our bubble. And when they do, you know, like forcefully do it, because you know that happens, we have to learn a way to then protect ourselves and get the support we need from people to help heal that pain, because it could be painful when things like that come at you. But yes, it's true. It's too much black and white racism out there, and the lack of communication is ridiculous. And also sometimes it feels like you can't really even have a true conversation because everything is picked apart. You said it this way, you said that this way. It has to come from a place of we're all here because we all want to be better. So let's hear each other out in the way that we all talk, and we could come together with openness, with empathy, and not with ready to pounce or ready to, because people come from different places, and they would be, a lot of people are ignorant, and they would be horrified to even know that they're viewed in a certain way, like really, you know. So they would be like, oh my god, I can't even believe it, I didn't even see it in that way. So you're right, lack of communication and education is right on. Right on. I'm gonna read a few more, but then I'm not really able to load. This one's from Jenny Jones. There's like 4 comments from Jenny Jones, so girl, I'm gonna read yours all at one time. The first one says, join meetup.com and find some black people, it helps. I've never heard of that before. Meetup.com. Okay, you killed me when you said, please girl, no, please get your life together before you hate me. Girl, seriously, because it's like, you hate me, but oh god, no, that's unacceptable. You have to get your life together first.
You have to. It's like a dagger in the heart. Like, oh God, you hate me. You need supportive Black friends and Black-centered social events. The hate some Blacks give you for being in a white family can't compare to racism, white supremacy, even though it's wrong too. So, true. About the hate that some of the Black people gave me when I was growing up because of my white family, it was really uncomfortable. I could tell you that much, because when you're a little kid and you're with your white family and then you walk by a Black family and the Black family is staring, just like how white people do, staring, and I get looks of disapproval, like, that could be kind of intimidating, you know. And I felt pretty embarrassed. I remember I would walk way behind my family when we went out, and because I would just be embarrassed because of all the looks I would get. So I would just walk by myself, and then nobody would know I was with a white family. And then when we go to restaurants, usually I would be right there with my family, but I would never be acknowledged. So I would be like literally 3 years old with my family, and they would be like, "Table for 6." Where do you think I'm gonna eat? I'm here too. Hello, no, table for 7. So it just made me feel like I wasn't Black enough, you know what I mean? Like when you're just little, it's like if you get disapproving looks from people that look like you, that have your skin and your hair, and I don't get good looks, I feel like I'm somehow like I'm wrong, like I'm a bad person, like I am what's the word? A traitor. So I always felt very guilty, like I was a traitor when I did get those looks. So true, not as much hate, but it was still hate, and it was really uncomfortable. So yes, more supportive Black friends and Black-centered social events. You know, I move so much. I've moved so much and left so many different friends. So I do have friends via computer, but no, I do not have a group of Black friends that I hang out with, nor do I have any Black-centered social events that I go to in Ventura. Not sure they exist here, but I do. I hear ya. So I think I'm going to make a part 2.
you.